Hello, my name is Alvin Dantes, and I am the Digital Initiatives and Technologies Librarian at the Art Institute of Chicago, and I will be the primary mentor of our NDSR Art Residency project, Capturing the Museum Experience, Saving Electronic Media in the Galleries. The Art Institute of Chicago was founded as both a museum and school for the fine arts in 1879, a critical era in the history of Chicago as civic energies were devoted to rebuilding the metropolis that had been destroyed by the Great Fire of 1871. Its first collections, consisting primarily of plaster casts, the Art Institute found its permanent home in 1893 when it moved into a building constructed jointly with the City of Chicago for the World's Columbian Exposition at the intersection of Michigan Avenue and Adams Street. That building, its entry flanked by the two famous bronze lions, remains the front door of the museum even today. In keeping with the academic origins of the institution, a research library was constructed in 1901. 8 major expansions for gallery and administrative space have followed, with the latest being the modern wing, which opened in 2009. The permanent collection has grown from plaster casts to nearly 300,000 works of art in fields ranging from Chinese bronzes to contemporary design, from textiles to installation art. Together, the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and the Museum of the Art Institute of Chicago are now internationally recognized as two of the leading fine arts institutions in the United States. The library opened with 2,700 books, but has since begun to expand and become international in scope, with librarians even traveling abroad for purchasing. In addition to books, the library collects lantern slides, photographs of artwork, postcards, pamphlets, guidebooks, and maps. Daniel H. Burnham, architect, urban planner, and trustee, and best remembered as Director of Works for the World's Columbian Exposition, died in 1912, bequeathing $50,000 for the creation of the Burnham Library of Architecture. Architecture was central to the program both to the school and to the museum. In 1921, a decision was made to acquire architectural drawings. An archive of architects' drawings and plans was conceived first as an aid to working architects, but has become a primary research resource for architectural history. The Art Institute's Department of Architecture was formed in 1982 with the transfer of some 40,000 drawings, models, and architectural fragments from the Burnham Library collections. The library kept the research material. Additions to the collection continue to focus on the Chicago School and its successors. In 1985, the Art Institute finally established its own institutional archives for permanent records of both the museum and school. In the mid-1980s, a formal conservation program was also established, and now has just begun addressing issues of preservation for electronic media. Museum institutional archives have long sought to collect and preserve their records. Over the years, we have developed procedures for doing so, from the creation of record retention policies and the capturing of certain types of documents and files. In addition to governance and finance records, among others, museums have actively collected museum collection records, exhibition and installation documents, associated publications, and photographs. However, now, with the advent of electronic media, we are finding new challenges and few answers. Only recently has the Art Institute of Chicago begun to address policies and procedures for capturing this part of its history. Some elements started out in analog, such as recordings of audio visitor guides for both the general collection and special exhibitions, as well as recording of lectures, performances, and events. However, with the advent of digital media, what needs to be collected has also expanded. Some were digital translations of analog examples, such as audio-visual recordings. However, other born digital media are new, such as gallery-specific interactives and turn-the-page electronic book displays. If the institution does not immediately address saving this born digital material, there is the potential for considerable loss. Not only will the information contained by these files be lost, but the record of what museum visitors saw, heard, and interacted with will disappear. Our project aims to study and develop and implement a plan for preserving born digital documentation of the total art museum experience, including permanent collections, special exhibitions, real and virtual visitor engagement and interaction, lectures, performances, and events. Using established archive policies and digital repository tools for museum records, the project will explore what should be collected and retained for both preservation and future access, and drafting policies and procedures for implementation. As many museums are now addressing these unique media that create the museum experience, the work on this project and the resulting directives will be applicable to both other museums as well as the greater museum world. I highly encourage you to join us in this endeavor and help safeguard the future of electronic media both in the Art Institute and the greater museum world. Thank you.